Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. And in today's video I'm gonna revisit my kind of swatching and ranking all of my green palettes. I've uploaded this video more than a year ago and a lot of these palettes in my collection changed. Some of them I no longer have, and there are a lot of new ones. I'm actually looking at the pile and it's like, I don't know, like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 18. Well, it's most of my collection, so I think it's over 40 palettes that I'm going to be sharing with you. And hopefully you'll find some good green shades here, whether all green palettes, green with something, pop of green, whatever works for you, and whatever tone and depth works for you. So we're going to kind of visit all of that. I'm going to swatch my favorites and just chat about why that palette is something that I want in my collection and what it brings to my collection, so that maybe you can find what could work for you, or it will just remind you of some palettes that you might have forgotten about. So strap in, definitely have something to snack on and to drink, because this might be a really long video. And without further ado, let's just jump right into this video. And also, in case you're new here, hi, my name is Sasha. I love indie makeup, I love colorful makeup, I love eyeshadows especially. Green is my favorite color, so that's why there's so much. So hopefully you'll enjoy this one, and I'll be super happy if you'll give this video a like. And in case you're new here, I would really appreciate if you could consider subscribing. And now let's just get into the overhead shot. Okay, so as you can see, there is a lot of eyeshadows to talk about, but I'm gonna try to like not overwhelm you too much. And I have no clue how many palettes are there, because I just thought that that would be too chaotic if I actually tried to count it. So we're gonna start with this Udens Eye and Angelica Trick or Treat palette. This one obviously is like very Halloweeny, so it has the like kind of orangey, like pumpkiny colors, then some neutrals, and then greens. And this palette is absolutely stunning. I have two favorite shades. They're both shimmers, but I feel like that they're so stunning. And the first one is the shade Witch's Brew, which is just so incredibly beautiful. It's this beautiful kind of like blue based green with like so much of gold sheen. Yeah, like it is so incredibly beautiful, and I think you can see the kind of bluier base there. So pretty. And then shade Magic Potion, which is again just so incredibly beautiful. This one is like very sea foamy bluey green. Yeah, I love these two. Literally my two favorite shades. So that's that one. And in case you like to wear greens with these more like neutrally shades, and let me actually show you also close up of this palette. It's a really beautiful palette. I don't know if they still have it. If they do, it's probably very like, it's probably on sale, because I know that it's kind of like a discontinued product. And I have this Harvest of Souls by Fantasy Cosmetica. I mean, this one is just gorgeous palette. And my favorite from here, I love this matte green. Like, I'm sorry, but this, do you see this? This is such a gorgeous green. Like, I adore this one. And then obviously these deep greens, this again kind of like bluey green going into this very sparkly gold green. Incredible. Then you have this one, which is kind of like a more like blue green. So pretty. And you have this mustardy shade that has a bit of green in there as well. All of these are stunning. I also love this gold toned tealy green. But yeah, Harvest of Souls, such a gorgeous palette. And I have this Shall We Makeup Liana. Mine is slightly different because I don't have one shade there, and instead I repressed a shade from my... This one is from the Merry Christmas, and I think it's called like New Year's or something. No, New Leaf. I think this one is called New Leaf. It's a beautiful kind of like a tealy blue toned green, and I do really enjoy this one on the days that I kind of feel more like a cool toned color story. But from the Liana palette, I don't know, like I kind of like them all. They're definitely cooler than what I usually go for, but I think they're still nice. But in case you're looking for a really small palette, and the shade that was originally there was like that really interesting multi-chrome that goes from red to orange to gold to green. So a very, very shiny one. And very pretty. Then I have this Earth palette, which is an all green palette, and you can't get it anymore because Odin's Eye discontinued it. And I don't actually have the original shades here. I've repressed my Odin's Eye Merry Christmas palette, and this shade is from the Christmas Eve. This one is called Just Now. This one is, I think, New Year's. This one is... How are you called? I have it like at the tip of my tongue, but I can't figure it out. Oh, yeah, Jingle Bell. Then we have Matcha Cookie, Best Wish, and my favorite, well, I really love Matcha Cookie. It's such an interesting shade that I don't really have all that much. Like, I do have a couple palettes with this shade, but it is still pretty unique shade in my collection. Hello, focus. Yeah, so that one is really beautiful, and as I said, it's called Matcha Cookie, and I adore this Best Wish shade. It's very beautiful, like pistachio green, and I don't really have much of it left. Like, you can't see that in the pan, maybe, but like there is so little. I'm literally like, I'm gonna hit pan in the next 2 uses at most. Like, it is so close to that, and then I'm not gonna have anything there because like it's literally at the bottom. Then a beautiful palette is this Cosmic Beauty. Sorry, yes, Cosmic Beauty. I sometimes am confused if it's Cosmic Beauty or Cosmic Brushes. And sorry, I had a lotion on my hands. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. So this is the season, which came out for Christmas this year. And from this one, first of all, I really love this shade Garland. Such a nice deep green, and it's amazing tone. I love that one. Like, it's so deep and so yummy. And I mean, mistletoe, we all know that that's something that I'm gonna enjoy. I think I'm gonna swatch one more shade from this. I think we're gonna do Festive, because this one is such a beautiful, like, light kind of minty shade, like a little bit deeper mint. And again, I don't have that many shades like this, surprisingly. Or maybe it's just the texture of it, but I don't really feel like I could get that. I'm so dirty already. So that's just the season, and obviously it has a beautiful, like, it has kind of a beautiful array of other shades as well. So you have the greens, you have neutrals, you have purples and kind of pinky berry shades. You have this beautiful multichrome, which I don't think in this light you will see that, but it is kind of something that I talked in the Liana palette, that I talked about with the Liana palette, which is hello, can you? Oh yeah, you will see it here. That goes from like green to orange to red. So it's kind of similar idea, in case you would like really want that, but you also don't want to buy it as a single and you like these shades. I think this palette is still available. Then one of the oldest palettes, maybe the oldest actually, is This Sweet as Can Be by Colourpop with this Pokemon palette. And obviously this one kind of always surprised me with the fact that it's not all that green. Like, I was expecting this to be full on green yellow, and it only has 2 greens. But this shade called Money Tree, it is one of my favorite shimmers from Colourpop that I've ever had, because it's this like goldy green, like minty, soft color, and it actually looks beautiful on the eyes. I usually don't like Colourpop shimmers because they aren't sparkly. Like, if you compare it to these, obviously it's something completely different. But for Colourpop, I still feel like this particular shade is very special. And that's why I keep holding on to this palette, because first of all, it's nostalgic, and second of all, I really like this color story. It's not the best quality. I do love these 3 shades. They're wonderful. This one isn't bad. It's just not a color that I go for. And this one is also a really nice quality. It's just also not a shade that I go for all that often. But I still use this palette like 50 times or something. So yeah, and she's beautiful. Then in this empty magnetic palette, I have this single from Colourpop. Come here. This one is called Conjure Up, and as you can see, it's this like deep kind of bluey green. So let me swatch it right here. And as you can see, this one is kind of like in this color family, like it's more like a blue green. And also I really like these, especially for deepening up. It's just a nice shade to have that I enjoy a lot, and I have it in this V Cosmetic single empty magnetic eyeshadow palette. Then not that long ago, I was able to finally get my hands on the Kaleidos Flower Punk palette that I've wanted for a very long time. And as you can see, it's half green, half pink. I love this minty shade here called Aloe Cove. Like, I'm sorry, but this one is so incredibly beautiful, and it's so sparkly. And then I just have to swatch Chlorophyll, because I'm sorry, but I love these yellowy mustardy greens. They're something that I live for. And do you see the pigment? Like, yes, this one is definitely more like yellow than green, but it shows up quite green on the eyes. So, and obviously Golden Age as well. Like, I just love these kind of mucky greens. And she's beautiful. Obviously, you can't get her anymore, but I'm so happy that I was able to find her on like a Poshmark type of place. So I got it secondhand. That's why this packaging is kind of broken, but or like the paper part, obviously, which is not that important. But it's in a really nice condition. It was barely touched, and I just really wanted that one. Then I have the Cosmic Beauty Muse palette. This one is obviously also like kind of pinky neutral green, very kind of like fairy garden to me, and I love a bunch of these shades. Obviously we need to swatch Water Lily. I know I'm repeating myself, but I just love these greens, okay? I just really do. Sorry, I didn't really, yeah, like that. It's always hard to swatch on this side of the arm because obviously there's like body hair. I love these, and you always see me wear this if I wear green. But I think I also want to swatch this antique shade, because this one is kind of like a, I don't know, like it has green in it, but it's not like a predominantly green. It's like a soft green, gray, neutral. So in case you're kind of like just dabbing into greens, I feel like this is a really nice one, especially with these like more cooler toned greens. It's gonna look very, very beautiful. And I also have to swatch Softly, because this is one of my favorite tones of cool tone greens. Like, this one is, to me, this is pretty much blue. I know that for some people this is like the epitome of green, but for me this is almost blue. Like, yes, it is in a green family, but it is so blue, because for me, like, this is kind of what well, this is kind of what I imagine when you say green, like this color. So this is very blue compared to that, obviously. But yeah, this one is beautiful, and if you want to mix it with some neutrals and you also like kind of pinky purpley tones, I would highly recommend this one. I think it's still available, and it is beautiful. It's one of the more like neutrally colorful palettes. So if you don't want like a full neutral palette, but you also don't want like a full rainbow or colorful palette, this one I think is a really nice place to start. And it's a wonderful quality for an amazing price point. Then I have this Serpent palette by Makeup Beauty Shop in collaboration with Martha's Makeup. This one is like 2 years old, I believe. And as you can see, it's like half green and half kind of berry color story. Love this one so much. I love that you have neons kind of at the in the first row, and a couple of these like deeper tones. I love duality because it's kind of browny color going into green. I think you can see that there's like brown and then there's green, and you can see the shift so nicely on this one. And I think I'm gonna start here. So yeah, like I think you can see the shift so easily with this one. It is just so pretty. And then obviously Venom, like I can't. Just such a beautiful yellow green, which is exactly what I love. I love these yellow greens. They just mean the world to me. And yeah, look at that. So pretty. And yeah, I also have these like very like khaki shades there. This palette is just perfect. It's spectacular. I could not recommend this enough. I think it's back to pre-order, or maybe it's already sold out. I'm not completely sure. But if you've never tried Mika and this color story speaks to you, grab it if you can. Then we have this Mighty Monster palette by Udens Eye in collaboration with Annette Oberstadt. This is one of their legendary Diversa collection palettes. And you have this like cool toned green, you have some like really nice warm tones, some really nice cool tones, neutrals. Like this palette kind of has it all. But this shade called Serpent Scales, like I am sorry, but do you see this? It's so pretty. Let me swatch it for you. This one is again one of those like bluey green ones, like a little bit of purple, but like very barely purple. So yeah, this one, it's pretty opaque if you put it over like matte shade, but on its own it is such a nice sparkly, almost iridescent, which you wouldn't expect when you look at the palette, but it has a lot of iridescence to it. Like it is not a full-on iridescent, it definitely has a base, but it is pretty light and just so pretty. So Mighty Monster, in case you like just a pop of green. And I just love this shade. I wish they had it as a single, or maybe they do, but I haven't really seen it. Then the green palette of all green palettes, like this is the one that rules them all. It's the Undergrowth by Cosmic Beauty, and it is this is just like the green palette. You have cool tone greens, warm tone greens, some of these more like mustardy colors, couple browns as well. I love Lichen, I never know, but I think it's called Lichen. Again, very yellow green, obviously, because it's me, duh. Then I really adore the shade Murky, one of my favorite deep greens, because it's kind of like khaki color, and I just, especially with these more yellowy greens, it just makes sense to me. Okay, it makes sense to me. And then to pick a shimmer, this is so hard because I love them kind of all. Undergrowth as the like main shade, and the main multichrome in this one is so pretty. Again, kind of like a blue base gold flip with this green in the middle. I don't know why I always make so much mess. But vegetation really surprised me. I fell in love with this one. It's kind of slightly better formula for the shade from the Winnie the Pooh. Like you can see, this one is so much more sparkly and just nicer and softer. But it has pretty much the same idea behind it. And if I use them both on my eyes, you wouldn't really be able to tell. I think the only difference is that this one just sparkles more. But yeah, these ones are just so pretty. And like if you like greens, you should really get this. Everything you could want, and it is wonderful quality. I think one of the best quality palettes that I have from Cosmic Beauty, and I have most of their palettes. I don't have the neutrals and the culturals, and I don't have their first palette and the lover or like the Valentine's palette. I don't have that. Otherwise, I have or had their other palettes. And I have the Diabrun Witch of Wildflower. I love combining greens with purples, and this is pretty much like half green, half purple palette. It's small, it's magnetic, it's gorgeous. So again, we have very light, almost yellow green, then this deep green, and we have this orange, which kind of has like a little bit of a deep, like a green flip, and then these central. This is like a split pen. One is more blue and one is more kind of gold. I think you can see it from this angle. But we're gonna swatch the shade Iron Wheat. It looks so yellow on the camera, but it's actually green. Like I don't know why it doesn't. I guess it's kind of like the chlorophyll shade, but this one is green. It just has a lot of yellow in it. Yeah, I mean, do you see the pigmentation? I don't know, should I swatch this? Maybe I'm gonna swatch it slightly. This one is very kind of chunky, and you can see it has loads of flakes, but it looks so pretty on the eye. And yeah, there's a lot of green happening. There's also like gold and a little bit of blue. So that one is amazing. This is such a beautiful little palette. Then we have the Dragon Eye by What's Up Beauty, this small little palette. If you like really small magnetic palettes, this one is for you. And this one is like a really neutral, beautiful color with a bunch of incredible, out of this world shimmers, and a lot of them have a green flip. Like the Myth is kind of like this steel purple going into greeny orange, and you have this one which is kind of like a yellowy green going into this blue, and Scales obviously again deep green going into purple. And you have Fire, which kind of looks like a yellow green gold going into pink, and then you have the Fly, which is like very light green. So we're gonna swatch Fly. You see, very light, very sparkly. It has a bit of pink and a bit of gold, and you know, maybe Fierce. We can swatch Fierce as well because I feel like it's kind of unique. It's like a blue base with gold shine, and in certain lights, it just looks like a green shade. By the way, I just love the packaging and the artwork on this. Like, this is one of the coolest palettes I own, and obviously nothing really compares to the shimmers. There are like, they look a little unassuming in the palette. Like, oh yeah, they still sparkle, but they kind of look like a regular really good shimmers. But then you put them on your eyes and you're like, where did it come from? Like, how did this happen? It's always a nice little surprise. Then I have this big divination palette by Robert Welsh in collaboration with Blem Bunny. And this one kind of has pretty much most of the colors you could possibly ask for. And it has wonderful green shades. Again, we have very kind of like yellowy green. Then the tea leaf is a beautiful kind of mid-tone green. And then 13, also stunning. We're gonna swatch the tea leaf. It is gorgeous green. I don't think we really have a green like this yet. Or maybe slightly this one, which I don't remember what this was. But this one is lighter and just so beautiful. And then I think I'm gonna swatch Vision for you. This one again, it's one of those like lately I've been really into this more like mintier greens with this like slightly golden sparkle, but like just very slight sparkle. It's been kind of my obsession lately. Last year I was really into these goldy greens, and now I'm just really into these ones. And also just really like iridescent shades. And then also I have the shade Sky, which is kind of like a yellow green. Like I think you can see that it's sometimes yellow and sometimes more like green from certain lights. It's not fully like a multichrome, but it is definitely a duochrome in my opinion. So this is divination, and if you like to have a lot of colorful options but also grays and deep colors and neutrals, you have that all in this palette. Then I have the manifestation, which I'm currently in the process of reviewing. I filmed 2 looks with this, well, 2 looks with both my V Cosmetics palettes, this one also, and but I'm not done yet. I'm kind of had to stop to review something else. But we have the I Am a Priority. It's kind of like a deep green black, sorry, brown black, but it has a bit of, I see a bit of green there from certain lights. Maybe that's just me, but like I feel it has a little bit of a, I feel like it has a little bit of a green sparkle. Maybe you can see it in the reflection. You know, like I see a little bit of green. And then you have the shade I Am Confident. That has like a that light green going into blue, going into pink. And then you have the I Love Myself, which is like gold, green, orange. I think I'm gonna swatch this one also. It's a beautiful shade. And yeah, I think you can see there's like really deep green going into the yellow orange shade. I mean, do you see this? This is so pigmented and so smooth, like so extremely smooth. So that's the manifestation from Pooh Cosmetics. And definitely subscribe if you want to see the review, because I don't know when it's coming. I have to finish up reviewing it. Then I have the Glamshop Cosmetics Nocturnal palette, and this one has so many beautiful colors. Like this one is very colorful, and you have the shade Milky Way, which has a bit of like green blue, and it has this like beachy base, but the shine on it is actually like green blue. And then you have the Night Vision. Night Vision is so pretty. It's kind of like my kind of like basic green shimmer, but I really like this one. This is kind of the shimmer that I go for the most, or like the tone that I go for the most when it comes to colorful, when it comes to shimmery greens. So that's the Mini Nocturnal by Glamshop, and it pairs so well with kind of every single shade in here. I really like that even though this color story might seem kind of strange and confusing and just like really colorful, it works so well. I think I'm also gonna swatch the shade Murky, because I just really love this one. It's just pretty. And yeah, technically this one is also like, for me this is more blue with a green tone to it than green with blue tone, because like this one is just very blue in my opinion. So I would rather, like, yes, it's not like this, but this one also has like a little bit of purple in there. So, you know, I would count that shade towards blue more than towards green. And I know there's gonna be some people in the comments not agreeing with me, but that's okay. It's just color, and we all see colors differently, or we all categorize colors differently. And I have this Pooh Cosmetics Midsummer moons. And this one is kind of like a perfect Halloween-y color story. And you have these kind of like cool tone greens. Hello. This one is very blue. But like I would still call this green, just like, well, I would call this turquoise, but you know what I mean. Like I would still kind of put it with greens, but the previous shade from the Nocturnal palette, that one was way too blue for me. And there's this one. They don't have shade names. This one is that, again, like gold toned green with gold sheen that I've been obsessed with in the past couple months, well, almost a year, honestly. And again, so sparkly. And obviously, like, I love this shade. Like, that's kind of my basic green for any type of day. But we've already swatched a lot of them. Then I have this Pokemon palette by Colourpop. Mine might look slightly different than you're used to because I've changed up a lot of shades. But I adore the shade Tall Grass. Again, a little bit more cool toned green, but it's a really nice tone and a really nice formula. I do enjoy this one a lot. And I also enjoy the shade Fainted from this palette because this one is such a nice deep green. And it just blends really nicely, and it's just very, very deep. It's even deeper than this one. Like, I just like the depth of it. By the way, in case you're interested in cool tone greens, I would definitely recommend the Winter Wonderland from Cosmic Beauty. And from this one, first of all, I love the shade Atmosphere because it goes from this cool tone green to purple. Maybe you can see that. Yeah, I think you can see that. So this one is amazing multi-chrome, or at least duochrome, if nothing else. So this one, yeah, like a blue, purple, green. So lovely. My favorite green shade from this palette is Frost. Again, that like seafoamy blue green. I feel like it looks a lot more blue right now, but it has a lot of green in there. And from Matte, I just adore the shade Crisp. I'm sorry, but like, do you see this? It's such a gorgeous pastel-y, cool toned green. So those are my favorites from the Winter Wonderland, because I know not everybody loves the Undergrowth because it's too yellow. So if you like cool tone greens, Winter Wonderland. And it also has beautiful blues and purples. Then, one of my favorite combos with green, if I don't want to do monochromatic look, is to add purple, or also yellow, but mainly purple. And this palette has that, which is the 9 Shade palette by Gourmand Girls in collaboration with Doodles by the Bunny. You have this beautiful shade called Hellbar, but I've already swatched many shades looking like that. So we're gonna swatch Henbane, which is this beautiful mid-tone, pretty, what's the word? Pigmented green, like kind of mid-tone green. I mean, this one isn't as cool as the others, but it's also not warm tone green by any means. And it just works really nicely with these purples and the yellow, because I feel like it has enough green so that it blends into the yellow, but it's not too warm tone, so that you can also use the purples next to it and kind of create like a gradient of these 3 shades. And that's exactly what I enjoy. And I have this Blend Bunny in collaboration with Lin's Makeup Looks, and you have the shade Graphic Tea, which is just stunning matte, but then you have the shade Slay, and I'm gonna repeat myself again, but that's just what I like, okay? This kind of light, goldy, light, sparkly green. So that one, seriously, this shade completely blew my mind. Like, because I only tried the Divination palette from Blend Bunny before, and the shimmers there are really pretty, but they're nothing to write home about. But then you try this, and this is just like, it is such a difference and so incredible. So I just could not believe that it's the same brand. Then I have the Spooked palette by Gourmand Girls in collaboration with Doodles by the Money. And this one is a lot more neutral color story with a little bit of, but kind of like pops of color. So like you have pop of purple, pop of pink, pop of red, pop of green. You have this incredible shimmer multichrome, which is like a slightly rusty reddish brown that goes into green. Like you can see that it's kind of like a green gold. It's called Trick, which is very fitting name. And yeah, I think you can see like it's kind of like a neutral with green. I'm gonna put it here. And it's so sparkly and it's still so beautiful, even though it's like 3 years old or something. Well, more than that actually, but I think I bought it like 2-3 years ago. I'm not completely sure right now with the timeline. And then you have the App Bob. This one is more like almost satiny. It's not very, it has very limited sparkle power. Let's just put it that way, but it is gorgeous, gorgeous undertone. If this was sparklier, I would already have pan in there. So that's the Spooked. And I just love this packaging and the theme, and I like that it's very universal palette that you can kind of do anything with. Then another perfect green palette in case you're not into too pigmented greens, like you don't really want to look completely like a Shrek, and you also don't really need like a super sparkly shimmers, like out of this world sparkly shimmers. I would recommend this Nomad Ireland Wild Atlantic Way. I can never pronounce this for some reason. This one again, beautiful, beautiful green palette. I'm not really gonna try to pronounce the shade names because a lot of them are Irish, and I'm not gonna try that. But I do really like the Wild Atlantic Way. Do we have space somewhere? Maybe here. So this one, kind of like a really nice mid-tone green, not too warm, not too cold. Then, oh my gosh, is this seeping through? Why? Then we have the, oh god, this shade. Read it for yourself because I will not try to figure out how that's supposed to be pronounced. And again, it's like a gold green, very light sparkly shimmer, and it has some blue in it as well. And I just really like this flip, and I feel like it's one of the best shimmers in this palette, together with, let me see, I think it was the shade Slan. I think these two are the best shimmers in this palette, just from the undertones and everything. I also pretty enjoy this this deep green because it kind of has a very interesting flip to it. So yeah, this one, and I love the packaging. It's this like velvety type of packaging, and you have all these Celtic symbols and the little clover leaf. It's just such a beautiful little palette. Well, it's not little, it's pretty big. It's 18 pan, but you know. And also look at this. I want to visit this place. Like, please take me there, please. Okay, we're almost done. Then I have the Mio, the Frog's Tail palette, and this one has a lot of neutrals, couple colors. You have the greens. There was a green glitter here, but I got rid of that one, and instead I repressed shade here. And then you have also like blues, but I really enjoy both of these, especially together with the blues. Like, it is such a beautiful peacocky corner over here. So I highly recommend this one in case you want like a really nice neutral with pops of colors. This one is beautiful. It's very inexpensive palette. The mattes are pretty standard, nice, well made mattes, and the shimmers are also pretty standard but nice sparkly. And I had this shade Fairy Dust last month in my Pando's eyeshadows, and using this made me realize this one is a really beautiful highlighter, whether on the eyes or on the face, and it has a beautiful kind of like these multi-sparkle pigments. It's so pretty. So this one, and it's so inexpensive, honestly. I don't know how they really did that, but whatever. And it's a Polish brand, so in case you're from Europe. Then the next one, and another like main green palette that you should own, is the Hella by Uden's Eye in collaboration with Angelica. This one isn't available anymore, but it was her first collab with Uden's Eye, and this one is just so perfect. I love combination of green and pink. It's very like Wicked type of color story. There are so many wonderful shades. I have to swatch the shade Rebirth because I don't think we've really had a shade like this before. It is so pastely yellow green, and it's completely different tone than all the other shades that we've had, and it is just like genuinely one of my favorite mattes in my entire collection. And I also love Venom when it comes to shimmers. The way I've like slaughtered this shade when I first got this palette, because I couldn't stop wearing this. Like I literally would wear this 4 times a week all the time. Like this palette made me completely and utterly fall in love with greens. This little one, and rightfully so, because she's just the most wonderful color story and a wonderful kind of idea as well. Then I have the Lunar Beauty Moonshroom palette, and this one is kind of like a very autumnal color story. You have some yellows, oranges, browns, and greens, and also a pop of purple here. I very much enjoy the shade Weeping Willow. It's very kind of muddy green, but I love these greens so much, especially with these like yellowy chartreusey colors. It is just my favorite combination. Okay, I couldn't live without that. Then I really like the idea of these two shimmers, but I hate the formula of these. Like all of these shimmers are not okay for me because they're very soft, very thin formula, which would be wonderful, but it greases like crazy. It's a very emollient formula, and it just greases on me. So I don't like the shimmers. I pretty much never wear them because no matter what I tried, it just doesn't work for me. But the mattes are spectacular. Then another wonderful green palette. In case you just want a small little green palette to carry with you, I have the Avatar The Last Airbender Earth palette by Little Cosmetics. This one is a beautiful 9-pan. Pretty much all of them are greens. You have two kind of, well, this one is brown matte, and then this is kind of like a green to brown shimmer. And I'm not really gonna swatch the mattes because I feel like I already swatched pretty much every single shade of this in some capacity. But the shade Kyoshi, it's a beautiful multi-chrome that has like pink, green, and gold. So this is Kyoshi, and it's just a wonderful inner corner highlight or all over the lid shade. Honestly, this will transform your look into something so magical. And then I think I'm also gonna swatch the Gemerald because again I haven't really swatched something like this, but this one is very brown to green. It kind of is similar to the shade from the Spooked palette. Again, kind of like green neutral. So if you just want a pop of green, or if you just like a olive tone and you want to find like olive toned neutrals, this one would be it for sure. Then the palette that I'm actually wearing at the intro and I'm currently reviewing, and the review should come up hopefully by the end of the week, but maybe at the beginning of next week, is this Beauty Below by Blend Bunny. This is the like siren themed palette, and there are a couple of really incredible shades. I was quite surprised by this shade because this is kind of like a sagey neutral green, and it's not really gonna show up on me too much. because my arms are darker than my lids, but it is a wonderful shade. So especially if you're like olive toned, would highly recommend. And then I think I'm gonna swatch obviously the shade Trans, this yellow green. Okay, we're gonna swatch that even though I've already shown you a million other versions of this, but we're gonna swatch it here. Do you see this? It's just so pretty. I actually am wearing this on my eyes today, and I gasped audibly when I tried it. And also the shade Cursed, again, very deep, kind of black with a bit of green. I think you can see that it has a bit of green. Where are we gonna put you? Yeah, like, do you see that? Like, it has that little bit of green and purple sparkle. And from certain lights, it is that, like, kind of avocado, brown, green type of thing. Then I have the Haunted by Gourmand Girls in collaboration with Doodles by the Bunny. And again, you have kind of like purples, greens, and yellows. And I love the shade Unearthly. This one is, again, yellow-green. But do you see the sparkle? It is such a shiny, metallic little shade. And I also love this one, the shade Horrify, but I've swatched this shade a million times already. But Gourmand Girls is one of my favorite overall formulas for both mattes and shimmers. And I also have this Elements of Evil by Sugar Tristle. You have a really nice combination of beautiful mattes, mostly like pastel matte, and then these incredible shimmers. I think I'm gonna swatch the shade Pickled Eyeballs. It has like a peachy base with this goldy blue-green shine. Yeah, I think you can see that it is green, but it also has like a lot of other colors. Where am I gonna put you here? Yeah, like, it is such a beautiful light green shade, and it looks so pretty with kind of anything actually. And the same goes for Goblin Snow. This one is a lot more gold, so let me put it next to it. You can see that this one is a lot more gold with green, and I love them both, and I use them a lot. That's the Elements of Evil. Honestly, I wish my hand looked like this all the time, because all of these are so pretty. Then I have the Delicious Delights by Cosmic Beauty, and this is very like pastel colorful palette. And what I really like about this palette is the shade Fizzy when it comes to greens, obviously. This very minty one. So let me put it over here. Do you see? Like, it is such a perfect minty shade. And the same goes for the shade Minty. It's such a beautiful pastel shade. For me, it looks slightly more pistachio than mint in some combinations, but when you swatch it on its own, it's very minty. So these two, lovely. And I don't really have many shades similar to these two, so I really like to reach for this one every once in a while when I feel like using something like this. Then I have this Fall Magic palette by Unearthly. Very full appropriate, wonderful shades. Love this deep green called Earthy. Leaves, also absolutely stunning. This shade Change, which has like a little bit of green going into this purple, and it has that like neutral flip in it. That I absolutely adore. And then the shade Crisp is one of my favorite highlighters. This is beautiful. Like, I know I've already swatched something like this a million times, but I just really, really enjoy these shades. These are one of my favorite like shimmers when it comes to greens. Just something that I go for. Okay, then I have a couple Theremoons, and I adore this one, which is called Serpents. Again, green to blue. Who is surprised, really? Like, but this one is so different. It's slightly similar to one of the shades from the Harvest of Souls by Fantasy Cosmetica, but not really. And it has this like yellowy green base with this blue sheen, and I just love that. Do we have something like this somewhere? I feel like we don't really have that. Is it possible that we don't have that? That sounds... well, no, it's not the same. This might be a completely unique shade. Huh. Earth just shattered. So Serpent, this one is... no, this one is Arctic Lime, this one is... wait, let me actually find something magnetic, because I haven't used these in a while and I am not completely sure. No, wait, this one is... one of them is Castor. I think this one is Castor, this one is Arctic Lime, this one is... yeah, I do need the magnetic thing. Ivy. This one is Ivy. I was thinking of Poison and I couldn't figure out the shade name. Then another absolutely beautiful palette is the Spring Magic by Unearthly, and sorry, and this one has a beautiful array of neutral, cool tones and warm tone neutrals, then blues, all kind of different tones. I really love all of these blues, like they're so perfect. But then you have the greens. Love Dragonfly. Could you figure out why? And obviously Sprout is very like gold green, and they look so wonderful in this color story. Like no matter what you're gonna use them with, they just look so beautiful. So if you just want like a pop of green, and it's so pretty with this deep green, this brown, stunning, but also with this kind of like, I don't know, like a dusty rose petal, so pretty. And I'm still like blown away by this. Also, I love to use these two greens with the matte white in the inner corner. It is like, I've already done that look like 10 times, I think, and that's a lot because I usually don't repeat my looks. But this one just, it really works for me, and I just really enjoy it. And then I have a couple of singles. Some of them are from Glamshop, and all of these are depotted. So that's just kind of to show you, but they're depotted from the Alter Ego palette, and I love them all. I feel like there's no point in swatching them because I've already swatched very similar shades to that. And also here is my Legend of Korra palette, because in the packaging for Legend of Korra I actually have my build your own palette. But from this particular palette, I absolutely adore this shade. This kind of pistachio green matte, and this one is the Mover Star. Yeah, like, it's so pretty. I know technically we already have millions of these shades somewhere. Well, do we? I guess this one kind of... okay, we don't really have that many shades like this over here, so I'm gonna do a little swatch right here. It is a beautiful basic light green that I just go for a lot, and I already have a huge dip on this. Maybe you can see, maybe you can't. Probably can't. So that's the Legend of Korra, and I have it in this giant Unearthly empty magnetic palette. And here are all the swatches. So let me know which shade is your favorite, or if you have any of these palettes. And if you have a palette with some nice greens that I don't have, please leave the palette name down below, because I'm kind of obsessed with greens, and I just love knowing about green palettes. I might not buy it, but I just really like to, know about all of the beautiful green palettes that are available, even the ones that aren't available anymore. But yeah, here's the last final look at all the swatches, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful to you. and I'll be super happy to see you with another video, and let me know which color should I do next, because we've already done all of them, and I'm doing this again to show you a couple more palettes because most of them changed from a year and a half ago. But let me know what other color would you like to see redone. And with that being said, have a wonderful day, and I'll be super happy to see you tomorrow. Bye.